Greco EG800 from 1978. It's pretty much a one-to-one Les Paul custom copy. It's got the Ace approved 3 cream humbuckers on there, the sunburst with a plain top. This one even copies some of the 70s style Gibson construction on the side by using a sandwich body. It has this beautiful figured back on here as well, a maple neck with a volute that's made out of multiple pieces, at least 3 pieces for the main part of the neck, and then the wings on there have an extra 2. I don't know if these are the stock pickups on here or if they've been replaced at some point, but they have the classic Les Paul wiring scheme in here with 2 mini toggles, and from what I can gather, there's a 3-way mini toggle for the bridge pickup, and this one will basically give you 2 different sounds on there. One sounds like a full series humbucker, the other is either the humbucker in parallel or it's a split coil mode. When that's in the middle, it deactivates the bridge pickup, which means when you're in the middle position on here, you have the choice of having neck and middle together or having all 3 pickups on, and then you've got the neck pickup up here. The neck pickup has its own 2-way switch, which lets you again do the same thing. I don't know if it's actually splitting the coils or if it's a series parallel switch on there, kind of Jimmy Page style, but this thing is absolutely mint. This one is like, it just comes straight out of 1978, and it feels every bit like a 70s Les Paul custom. These Grecos have become highly desirable, and some people will probably argue that they're better put together than some of the Gibsons from that era on there. It's got all the appointments you would expect. It's kind of got the fretless wonder thing going on here. These are very small flat frets as well. I'm just going to jam out on some tones on here. I hope you enjoy. we can't talk about this configuration on a Les Paul style guitar without talking about Ace Frehley. And Ace has just passed away, which has hit a lot of people really hard because Ace is probably one of the most influential electric guitar players of all time. A good friend of mine put it so well that Ace was the reason that he picked up a guitar in the first place, and then Eddie was the reason he kept going. And it's almost impossible for someone like me who was born in 1988 to understand the impact of a band like Kiss. There really was nothing else like it. And Ace was just the cool one, right? If you listen to a live to what he's doing at like the peak of his powers, I think really belongs in the pantheon of rock gods. Just the playing alone, like he had a massive guitar sound and he was such an awesomely tasty player, always played in the pocket, always played for the song. You could not have that band without him as the character or without his guitar playing on there. And I think some of that gets overshadowed now with, obviously Kiss have been going on for a long time without Ace, and people have various opinions about that. But that classic lineup really, really made some seminal music. And for such an iconic player, to have this instantly recognizable instrument, I think if you wanted to get something along those lines and you didn't want to pay like Gibson custom shop prices, which now, as happens with famous musicians when they get older or they pass on, the instruments associated with them inevitably skyrocket up in value. But I think if you wanted something like that, something like a Greco would be a great way to go. I just love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. If you've got a guitar like this, if you've got any other non-Gibson Gibsons essentially from that era, a lot of which are made to a very, very high standard. And of course, let me know your favorite Ace moment, solo, riff. Is Ace the reason you started playing guitar, or Kiss the reason you got into music? I feel like every other musician has some kind of definitive moment in their life where they hear a particular artist and that's what makes them want to play music. And I feel like every other person I speak to, they mention that Kiss was the reason that they did that. So I just want to say thanks so much for watching the video. It was a great excuse to get this guitar out and play some guitar. And I would encourage all of you to pick up your guitars today, make some loud guitar noises and enjoy yourselves, because that's what it's all about. See you on the next one.